This is from an account on, I guess, Twitter called Texas Rebel or Rebel in Texas. Says, in my 50s and I'm still looking, not looking too good. Just having trouble finding love. Here's his meme. He said, find yourself a wife who dreams of this, not this. My favorite thing about this, they felt the need in this meme to cover up the cleavage of this woman with a, like, what is that called? A Shiba Inu? One of those little dogs? Like, no, I don't want to look at any cleavage, so let's put a little meme dog in front of that cleavage. Yeah, I wonder why this guy's struggling to find love in the world. It's so strange. You know, I mean, like, these people, it's so weird to me. They act like there's no women out there that want to be mothers anymore. Meanwhile, the human population, boom, 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 boom. Like, if there is this gigantic epidemic of women not pumping out babies anymore, then someone needs to tell women that, because they don't seem to be abiding by it much. I don't know why these people have to constantly glom onto this victim narrative either. I don't know. I guess when you're in your 50s and you still haven't found any sort of semblance of love in your life, maybe that makes you a little bitter. A lot of people have asked me, hey, where do you do your live streams? And the answer to that is that I do live streams called Abandon Hope every Sunday on the Pessimist Productions Patreon. That is linked down below. There is all sorts of other stuff on that Patreon as well. It is about $7 a month, and I think that we offer a pretty generous amount of content in exchange for that membership. So if that's something that interests you, be sure to check out the Patreon link in the description section of this video. How I feel about white women betraying their race. And it shows an interracial couple, and underneath Leviticus 20:16 from the King James Version of the Bible, it says, and if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. How you guys liking the new Elon Musk Twitter, huh? Yeah, pretty cool. I literally the other day got yet another Twitter suspension. I made a comment where I was like, I kind of hope that Joe Biden and Donald Trump both die before the election happens, because I want to see both parties just scrambling to figure out what the hell do we do now. And that was too hot for Twitter. That gets you a 12-hour suspension from the platform. But this over here, sorry, that way, that thing right there, that's cool. That's okay. That's fine. Literally a guy just having murder fantasies about a couple because their skin tones are different. That's acceptable. That's fine. That's good. A man likening black people to beasts. That's fine. That's okay. That's good. Me making a little joke at the expense of the duopoly. Ooh, bad, TJ. Bad. Naughty boy. How dare you? I love these political compass memes, right? All these people, they always talk, I mean, they're all the same. All these right-wing political compass memes, it's always like, usually I'm here on the political compass, but when you do certain things that I don't like, that forces me, against my will even, to become some kind of right-wing authoritarian nut job. So them normally, they're just a crazy, like, ANCAP, whatever. Me normally extreme far right, but slightly socially permissive. Me when there's a satanic altar on public property, oh my God, I turn into fucking Hitler. But only then. It's not like I'm already that. It's when things happen that upset me that I suddenly become way more intensely right-wing. This is just like their attempt to put off their fascistic tendencies onto everyone else. It's not their fault they're a crazy fascist nut job. It's yours for daring to have freedom. Okay. Good to know. Nice to know. Yeah, we pushed them to it. The poor souls. Rudolph changes name to Rolanda, dominates female reindeer games. What was the moral of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer again? Wasn't it that, like, excluding people for superficial nonsense is bad? Wasn't that, like, the whole point of the goddamn song? They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Why? Because his nose was red. But then they found out, oh, actually, his red nose can be useful to us, so I guess he's fine. I guess his difference is now acceptable once we realized we could exploit it. Pretty cynical interpretation of the song, but whatever. The actual intended message of the song is, don't exclude people. Don't say, hey, you're not good enough to be, with us because you have something different than the rest of us. Babylon Bee, I guess, just totally ignores that and tries to use the song and the character as a way to once again attack trans people. Because, that's the big threat in society. You got to understand. So here they are making fun of idiot leftist morons like myself, right? Obviously we're Ralph Wiggum because we have no brains in our heads. We're basically complete imbeciles, right? And he's saying, I'm a resistance. But meanwhile, he's shackled to a ball and chain, okay? He's got the hammer and sickle and the LGBT flag and the CNN logo and the Walt Disney logo and the Democrat Party logo on his face, and he's masked up, and he's got all the shots, all the syringes, still in his skin from all those times he's gotten the vaccine and all the boosters, because he's just a drone. He just listens to whatever he's told, but he thinks he's the resistance. Oh, how droll. How droll it is. I will never get over the fact that these right-wingers seem to be in love with the notion that leftists are watching CNN. Like, leftists are not watching CNN. Leftists are not loyal to Disney. Yeah, we like LGBT people. Yeah, some of us like the Soviet Union. Not all of us, some of us. There are plenty of people who are anti-vaxxers that are on the left. There's more on the right, clearly, but there are left-wing anti-vaxxers. There are left-wing anti-maskers. Now, as far as I personally am concerned, once the vaccine was shown to be effective, I got it. Because why wouldn't I? It turns out I didn't find Alex Jones's plea not to get it because it was going to melt my brain. I didn't do that because it didn't really seem like it was very convincing. It didn't seem like it was coming from a very convincing place. And didn't Alex Jones say, in fact, that we would all be dead by now, all of us who got the vaccine? And by the way, even as a conspiracy theory, it doesn't really make sense. Like, if you were an evil, tyrannical government trying to get people to take a vaccine, right? Wouldn't you want to give it to the most obedient? If you're going to give a vaccine to all the obedient sheep that just listen to you no matter what the evidence says, which is the narrative on the right, wouldn't you want to give that to the people who you wanted to survive? Because the current sort of thing that was being pushed with this vax stuff is like, we're going to give it to all the obedient sheep and then they're all going to die. Well, why would the all-powerful tyrannical government do that? They're going to kill all of their most loyal idiot followers and leave alive all of the, we must resist. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that doesn't really make sense. Like, if I was going to do it, if I was the Illuminati or whatever, I'd give the vaccine to everybody. And then the people who said, we don't want it. And then I'd release the real virus that my people have already been pre-inoculated against and kill all the fucking dissidents. That's the way to do it. If you're going to do some crazy conspiracy nonsense. But yeah, I mean, it turns out that none of that actually happened. Turns out that the mRNA vaccines not nearly as effective as traditional vaccines, but was able to be manufactured much quicker and seemed to have mostly positive results for us. I know that there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that like to spread the idea that they have caused all of these mysterious deaths and things like that, but I've seen no evidence that that's actually true. So I don't really have a problem with that. As far as masking up goes, I masked up until there was a vaccine. Once a vaccine was implemented and there was enough time for everybody to get it, I said, you know what? Everyone's on their own now. I'm not wearing a mask anymore. I became an anti-masker the moment the vaccines came out, or at least shortly thereafter, because I was wearing the mask because that was our best weapon against COVID-19. And once it no longer was, once we had a vaccine, you know what? If you're too stupid to go get the vaccine, then I'm going to, whatever. I have no problem putting your life at risk. It's your choice at this point. So really the vaccine is what enabled all of this mask up stuff to finally subside, because I didn't like wearing a mask. As far as like gay rights goes, I side with that philosophically because I'm bisexual. So I'm not really super keen on people coming into power who are going to be like, no. Like, I kind of want to be able to have the freedom to do that. Like, if I want to sleep with a man, I should be able to do that because that's my business. And it's consenting adults. So what is your issue? As far as the Soviet stuff goes, I'm not a Stalinist. I'm not a Soviet sympathizer. So I don't particularly. I mean, I had as my Twitter profile pic a version of the hammer and sickle where the sickle was replaced with a banana, which I thought was pretty funny. But I don't have any sort of Soviet whatever. Walt Disney, I mean, I've liked some Disney movies. I think that the company's made a lot of garbage, and I think that they've contributed to the death of art. I think they've contributed at least to the death of cinema with their, overly market-tested, corporate, bland, flavorless gruel that they have on offer to us all. So I have no urge to defend that company. But when I see a person who's like ultra triggered by the mere inclusion of like a black person in a movie, that to me, I mean, I think I can call that person an idiot and still not be quote unquote defending the giant corporation. I'm not defending the giant corporation at that point. I'm defending the idea that it's okay for a black person to star in a movie, which I don't think should be a controversial stance. The thing about trying to lump all people on the left into one box is that, you're going to find people all over the fucking spectrum is the problem. You're going to find people who identify with one or two of these things and not with the rest. I think you're actually going to find pretty few that are like, I mean, it's really going to be tough to find someone who is like pro-Soviet and pro Walt Disney and CNN. Like there's a pretty massive sort of ideological chasm that exists between those two things. So here's another one about how the left has sold out. Because in 2013, they were protesting Big Pharma. But in 2023, they were all getting their shots and wearing their masks and getting their QR codes tattooed on their heads. Well, here's the thing. Like, I don't know if you know this or not, but it's very possible to be critical of Big Pharma and still think that a medical product is effective. Like, I have no love for the actions of the Bayer Corporation. I think that they've behaved in monstrous and unethical ways, but I don't think that that destroys the efficacy of aspirin. Criticism of a corporate entity does not mean that all the products that are generated by that corporate entity are just instantly useless, right? Like, if a company makes a television set and then you find out that they're also funding a genocide in, Zimbabwe or something, oh, well, that's really unfortunate. They should be roundly criticized for funding the genocide in Zimbabwe, but that doesn't mean the TV doesn't work. Like, there's a difference between this company is evil and its products don't work. You know, you have in 2013, you had the left protesting Halliburton, saying no new wars. I think that was actually a little earlier than 2013. 2013 seems a little late for that protest, but whatever. But now they're all Ukraine simps. I'm not a Ukraine simp. I have not been supportive of the U.S. policy in Ukraine. I have not been supportive of the U.S. policy in Israel. I have been pretty roundly anti-war. I'm pretty roundly anti-nation state as well. So I am not a Ukrainiac. But even if I were, there's clearly a difference between Iraq, Afghanistan, and what we did there, and Ukraine and what's going on there. I do not hold those to be morally equivalent, at least not from the U.S.'s vantage point. What's happening in Ukraine might be morally equivalent to Iraq if you compare the U.S.'s actions in Iraq to Russia's actions in Ukraine, but that's a whole other ball of wax. And then finally, you have in the third panel, you have people protesting corporate greed, Occupy Wall Street, but now they're all wearing Mickey Mouse ears because they love Disney. And I think I see one. Is that a Twitter logo? Because that doesn't even exist anymore. I mean, it does, but it's been rebranded. And I thought you guys liked that now. CNN, Netflix, all of these corporations they're just completely loyal to. I mean, once again, what are you talking about? Because even back in the days of Occupy Wall Street, the people that were occupying Wall Street probably still consumed corporate media. It's super prevalent. It's everywhere. One of the things that was so strongly associated with Occupy Wall Street was the Guy Fawkes mask. Occupy Wall Street, Anonymous, all that stuff. They wore the Guy Fawkes mask, not because they're great appreciators of history, but because V for Vendetta had just come out. And they were all like, yeah, I'm a badass like V from V for Vendetta. And that was a movie made by a giant corporation. So, like, people have always still consumed corporate media. That's not something like, it's not like the left had eschewed and, you know, ignored corporate media for years and years. And then very suddenly in recent times, like, you know what? Corporate media is actually fucking awesome. Like, none of this has happened. So these are all just really weird, bizarre things. Here's a collection of memes about how women who make the PP hard are good and righteous, and women who make the PP soft are bad and wrong and should not be listened to. And this one's just asking, have you noticed that women who support Trump are always smiling and happy, and the women who hate Trump are always scowling and angry and usually ugly? Well, no, I haven't really noticed that, because that's not true. The reality is that there are beautiful and ugly women and tons of women who are in between all over the political spectrum, right? There are tons of centrist, I mean, like, beautiful women. There are tons of them are centrist, tons of them are apolitical, tons of them are left, tons of them are right. Ugly women, same thing. Normal looking women, same thing. Like, this is not, there's no correlation between attractiveness and politics, really. And anyone who thinks there is freaking fooling themselves, okay? I mean, it's just insane. I mean, like, we've all seen gigantically fucking obese women with no curves other than just round, who are in the wheelchair, wearing the MAGA hat, toothless, going, I think Trump's gonna save the country. You know, like, we've all seen that. So let's stop with this insane conceit that they're all just like hot models with big old titties. Like, that's not what's going on here. We all know that's not what's going on here. Let's not lie about the basic facts of observable reality to try to win an argument that doesn't even make sense, okay? Okay. 5 smart and classy conservative women. Challenge. Try to name 5 smart and classy liberal women. Can't do it. Well, I'm just going to dispute the fact that you've done it on your side. Like, no. Not at all true. Not at all true. And here you go. Conservative women, anti-abortion, eats meat. Liberal women, pro-abortion, vegan. And as you can see, ugly as sin. Although, honestly, the hottest bitch on this entire page is clearly Princess Fiona. Because she thick and she green. And that just, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that don't do it for you. It do it for me. So, whatevs. Yeah, AOC is a good example because they all clearly want to have sex with AOC. But you ever notice how they draw her in, like, if you get Ben Garrison or something to draw AOC, she's always like this gangly, hideous creature. You know, meanwhile, he draws Trump like he's this square-jawed, chiseled alpha. It's so absurd. I don't know exactly what this is trying to convey, but you have a fast food worker working at Wages. Does mildly impressive thing, and then some guys pointing, oh my God, see, I told you unskilled labor was a capitalist myth. How could you see that and not be outraged that he's making less than a lawyer or a brain surgeon? I don't know what argument you're trying to have or what straw man you've constructed to have it with, but could you do me a favor and just, like, I don't know, shut the fuck up forever? That'd be cool. I love my favorite conservative memes are always the I am going to make someone up to get mad at. That's my favorite conservative meme. And that is like a good solid 30 or 40% of them are basically that. You have Obama and Biden just shoveling billions of dollars into Iran, as they often do. And then out of the other side of the big demonic Iranian mouth, missiles are being launched towards the beautiful state of Israel, the sainted state of Israel that's done nothing wrong and has always been just like purely good and righteous. And this is insane to me for a couple of reasons. First of all, the idea that Biden and Obama have given billions of dollars to Iran, when in reality, all they did was unfreeze assets that already belonged to Iran that America had frozen. And they did that as part of a plan to disarm Iran, to get Iran to not pursue nuclear weapons. And all indicators show that that plan was working. It was a plan ferociously opposed by Hillary Clinton, by the way, because she's a warmonger. So actually, this is one of the few based things that Obama ever did, was put together this Iran deal. And, it was such a good deal that not only did Trump completely destroy it once he got in office because Obama had done it and he just wanted to reflexively undo anything Obama had done, but then he goes and tries to make the same deal with Kim Jong-un in North Korea. And of course, because Trump is an imbecile, Obama has more diplomatic skill in his pinky than Trump does in his entire fat fucking bloated body. Trump doesn't get the deal done. He tried to make the same deal Obama made with Iran with North Korea, but he couldn't get it done because he's a fucking loser. But Obama was able to get it done. And, I'm not an Obama fan. If you want me to make a list of reasons why I think Obama is a suck-ass president, it would unfold like a fucking scroll, and it would go down the street for miles, okay? But on this, Obama done good. Obama done good. But unfortunately, Trump fucked it up. And if there are missiles going towards Israel, it's not because Obama and Biden unfroze the money. It's because Donald Trump destroyed the peace deal that we had with Iran. And he only did it out of pettiness against Obama. So he had no actual concern for what was in the best interest of our country. And he had no actual concern for the fact that, like, these diplomatic relations had been skillfully and artfully crafted by superior statesmen to himself. He didn't care about any of that. He just wanted to nuke the deal because he wanted to undo Obama's legacy, because Trump, at the end of the day, was ultimately nothing more than a reaction to Obama. A bunch of people upset that a charismatic black dude had been president for 8 years, decided that they were going to get their revenge with Donald Trump. And he went in office and just tried his best to dismantle everything that Obama had done, whether it was working or not, whether it was good for the country or not, because his highest allegiance, not to America, not even to his base, but just to himself. And he realized that he was in the position he was in to destroy Obama's legacy, and that's exactly what he set about doing. And unfortunately, our peace deal, our disarmament deal with Iran, was a victim of that. And so if Iran made this situation in Israel, Palestine worse, it's largely because of Donald Trump, not because of Barack Obama or Joe Biden. My reaction when Wikipedia, a leftist propaganda website, begs me for donations. Well, the fact that you're there shows that you do find it to be a useful site, but also the idea that Wikipedia is leftist propaganda is pretty unusual, given the fact that everything that's on Wikipedia needs to have a citation, and also that Wikipedia is largely democratically controlled. So presumably plenty of conservatives can go on Wikipedia and contribute to Wikipedia as long as they have sources and citations for the things that they're saying. I guess the problem is that they usually don't. So I guess the supposed leftist bias of Wikipedia really just boils down to they want us to actually support our bullshit with facts, and we can't. Therefore, they're biased against us. Okay, so you have the teary-eyed Wojak looking at slavery, and you know he's upset by slavery like the little bitch he is. He says you can't just buy people. But then he's looking at, you know, Dave Rubin and Dave Rubin's boyfriend or whatever, or husband, and they're doing a surrogacy, right? And he's like, "Congratulations on your purchase," you know, because this one I actually kind of have to say, I mean, it's making a pretty decent point, right? Because, you know, one thing that I've always believed is that adopting a child to raise it is pretty much the same thing as buying a slave to use for labor, right? I mean, it's basically the same. Oh wait, no, it's absolutely not. That's insane. That's actually crazy. Cool. Wait, I'm sorry. I got confused for a second there. Here's a little tip for you. If you don't understand how the IQ curve thing works, probably don't want to use it in your meme. Apparently, this person has come to the conclusion that the higher the curve is, the smarterer the person is. Higher curve means smarter person. It's like, no, this curve is showing where the IQs are distributed. Most people, the reason there's a big bulge in the middle is because most people have our average level intelligence, okay? Okay, so you've placed the left-wing extremist over here, I guess thinking that both sides of the curve are just like dumb fucks, but you've actually placed them in like the ultra high percentile for IQ. Like, wow, they're the smartest of the smart. And you've basically said that the smarter you are, the more left you are, and the dumber you are, the more right you are. Here's another criticism of surrogacy. You have Shane Dawson and his boyfriend or husband or whatever the hell and they're surrogate babies. And you have, I think that's Pete Buttigieg, and then you have Dave Rubin, and, you know, all this. And the whole point of it all is that at the end of the day, women are just being used as breeding units. They have no say in any of this. They've been relinquished to the role of handmaids in the Handmaid's Tale or whatever. And they're just, all they exist to do is just pump out babies for these nefarious gay couples, right? I guess let's just ignore the way that this stuff actually goes down, right? Like, let's ignore that any woman giving her baby to, like, using her body to create a baby for a gay couple in, like, an act of surrogacy. By the way, this is not just done for gay couples. And I mean, like, I wonder if the people who make these kind of comics would also be upset about a straight couple who can't have kids finding a surrogate parent. Like some, you know, a couple who has infertility, like, would they also be upset about this arrangement? I mean, they never seem like they were in the past, so I'm assuming not. Like, I just wish they would just be honest about what their real objection is, you know? Like, it's clear that this is not about, hey, this is treating women like, you know, pregnancy chattel. Because in a lot of different contexts, you guys seem to support that. So that doesn't seem to be the issue here. It also seems like the issue is not like, oh, it's like selling a human being or something. Like, it doesn't seem like that's the issue because, like I said, you never mentioned this before. And, like, by that standard, I think you have to be against all adoption, which is crazy. So let's just be real about, like, the objection here. You just hate gay people. That's it. And I wish you'd just be honest about it. I wish you'd just be like, I don't want gay people to have kids because I hate them. And I just want their lives to be as miserable as possible. I want them to have, like, a fraction of the rights that everyone else does. I want them to be, like, you know, miserable, like, debaucherous existence and just horrible, horrible pain and destitution and misery for their entire lives. That's what I want for gay people because I'm just that bitter and hateful. Like, I just wish that would be what you presented, because the stuff you present to hide that is so dumb and transparent. Like, no one believes this. No one looks at this and says, like, oh yeah, that's how it is. Unless they have some sort of, like, insane bias already built into their psyche. Was just kicked out of a gay conservative group without warning because I was calling people out for being against gay marriage and gays being parents. It's unfair. I don't belong on the right or the left. I feel rage. I want to scream. The members called me an SJW liberal. It's all BS. I mean, I don't understand the person who is shocked when gay conservatives turn out to be conservatives. Yeah. Even though you would think because you're a gay conservative, you would be like, I'm conservative on most things, but on gay issues, I'm still pretty progressive, just out of self-interest. But no, they're not like that at all. Gay conservatives very much are on board with the suppression of the group that they themselves belong to. I don't know. I think it might just be like an elaborate BDSM thing for them. Like, oh, yes, oppress me, daddy Republican. But, like, you know, hey, deal with that shit in your own bedroom. Don't try to make that legislation and policy, okay? That'd be cool.